Hello and welcome. In this video, I will show you how to create a preferred size widget and ChoiceChip widget. First, you need to create a filter class. Then, inside the main screen and inside in this icon button, we use this function will push the filter screen to the navigation stack and display it on top of the main screen. Next, inside the filter screen, we create a widget that displays an app bar with a custom height, a back button, and a search button. We use a preferred size widget to wrap the app bar and specify its preferred size. We set the preferred size to a constant value of 0 width and 90 height, which means the app bar will take up the full width and 90 pixels of height of the screen. The child of the preferred size widget is a padding widget, which will add some space around the app bar. The child of the padding widget is an app bar widget, which will display the app bar with the desired widgets and appearance. We set the surface tint color to white, which will change the color of the app bar to white. We set the leading property to an icon button widget, which will display a button on the left side of the app bar. We set the icon property to a container widget, which will contain the icon that we want to use for the button. We set the actions property to a list of widgets that will display on the right side of the app bar. Next, we create a widget that displays a list of categories as choice chips that can be selected or deselected by the user. In body, we use a padding widget to wrap the list and add some space around it. The child of the padding widget is a column widget, which will arrange its children vertically. We set the cross-axis alignment to start, which means the children will be aligned to the left side of the column. We define the children of the column as a list of widgets that will display the title and the choice chips. The first child of the column is a text widget, which will display the title categories with a large and bold font style. The second child of the column is a sized box widget, which will create some vertical space between the title and the choice chips. The third child of the column is a wrap widget, which will display the choice chips in a flexible layout that wraps to the next line if there is not enough space. We set the spacing to 8 pixels, which will create some horizontal space between the choice chips. We define the children of the wrap as a list of widgets that are generated by mapping the categories list to ChoiceChip Widgets. The categories list is a variable that stores the names of the categories. For each category in the categories list, we return a ChoiceChip widget, which will display the category name as a label and a check mark as an indicator of selection. We set the label to a text widget, which will display the category name as the text of the choice chip. We set the selected property to a Boolean value that indicates whether the choice chip is selected or not. We check if the category is contained in the selected categories list and return true if it is, or false otherwise. The selected categories list is a variable that stores the names of the categories that are selected by the user. We use the toList method to convert the mapped iterable to a list of widgets that can be used as the children of the wrap widget. We set the label style to a text style widget, which will customize the appearance of the label text. We set the color of the label text to white if the category is contained in the selected categories list, or black otherwise. We set the selected color to black, which will be the background color of the choice chip when it is selected. We set the disabled color to white, which will be the background color of the choice chip when it is not selected. We set the show checkmark to false, which means we do not want to show the checkmark icon on the choice chip. We set the shape property to a rounded rectangle border widget, which will define the shape of the choice chip as a rectangle with rounded corners. We set the border radius to 30 pixels, which will create a circular shape for the choice chip. We set the onSelected property to a function that takes a Boolean value as a parameter and updates the selected categories list accordingly. This function will be called whenever the user taps on the choice chip, and it will toggle the selection of the category. We use the setState function to update the state of the widget and trigger a rebuild. We check if the isSelected value is true, which means the user selected the choice chip. We add the category to the selected categories list, which will mark it as selected. We remove the category from the selected categories list, which will mark it as unselected. Finally, inside in this icon button, we will add this function that will pop the current context from the navigation stack, which means it will go back to the previous screen when the button is pressed. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and learned something new. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.